What is going on, all my stars out there? How y'all shining? Waiting for next Sunday to see your team or watch football again can be the longest wait you have ever experienced. Maybe you don't feel like playing Madden today but love football. What if I told you there was a way to watch Madden 23 in the most realistic way possible? If you stick to the end of this video, you will have the sliders to make your Madden sessions as realistic as possible. You can also try to search up these settings if you're on PS5. I'll be trying to make it easy for you guys. So search for Cosmos Realistic in sliders, and if it is there, import it, and all I ask is that you leave a like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more content. So we're going to be starting with the league settings. So you want to do all pro for a skill level. All Madden can definitely be cheating, especially with the all Madden AI. All pro is a good balance, especially with our sliders. The game style you want is simulation because it gives, again, the most authentic experience. League type, all these really don't matter. I have instant starter on, trade dial obviously on, trade type enable on. Coach firing, you want CPU only because you don't want to be fired if your team is actually doing bad if you're not on GM, which I recommend this year doing GM. I will be releasing a video on how to be the best GM in this game and manage finances, so stick around for that. You want salary cap obviously on. Superstar abilities, this is up to your discretion. I keep them on this year. Sometimes you may not want them, you may just want to have them off, and those just make it so, again, it can kind of make it more realistic because different players don't have superstar abilities, but it can also kind of make it harder to level them up, so you would have to change the XP sliders a little bit. Relocation settings, I have normal, but feel free to actually, you can either put those on everyone can relocate or just all users who want to relocate your stadium before it actually like deteriorates. Ability to edit controls any player, obviously. Staff talent cost modifier, normal. Injury you want on, pre-existing injury you want off. Practice squad stealing, I have this off, and the reason why I have this off, which I started doing in my leagues, is because it's unrealistic. Because if in real life, if you put somebody on your practice squad and somebody wants to sign them, you have an opportunity to actually match that contract to keep that player. However, in this year, you can't. You can just steal anybody player off the practice squad, which doesn't help for development, because if you want a 53-man roster but have rookies that deserve to make the team but just won't make the 53-man roster this year, you would want them on your practice squad, of course. So I just have that off so people can't steal. Career clock you want on. Progressive fatigue I have on. Practice injury I typically have off. Sometimes I also have this off, which I'm actually going to change these to off, and the reason is because the progressive fatigue in this game can kind of be bad. I know it was last year. I really got to test it more this year, but just keep it off. And the reason, again, is just because, especially with practice and progressive fatigue, they get tired a lot faster, so they won't play as much, and they will be subbed out a lot of times doing plays, which is unrealistic because they're not going to be that tired from, say, 2 days ago practice or even yesterday's practice. Play call cooldown off. Prospect storylines, you want that on. The minimum roster side I typically have as 51 because I believe in real life it's either 51 or 49. I cannot remember, but I believe it's 51. If it's 49, just change it to 49 just to, again, have the most realistic experience. In-season player movement, unlimited, no restriction, unlimited. Breakout scenarios, of course, on. This is the same. And quarter length you want at 12 minutes with minimum play clock at 20 and accelerated clock on. So these are pretty much what you want for the career settings. Again, feel free to go back and slow it down, but now we're going to get actually into the sliders, which is probably the most important part of this video. So player skill typically it doesn't matter, but I still do it just in case they try to cheat and kind of make it so player skill is yours even though you're really not playing. But for QB accuracy I have at 30, pass blocking I have at 70, wide receiver I have at 45, run blocking at 48, fumbles at 30, pass defense reaction time at 20, interceptions at 20, pass coverage at 56, tackling at 70. Again, for QB accuracy I have at 30, pass blocking at 70, wide receiver catching at 46, wide receiver catching at 46, run blocking at 46, fumbles at 30, pass defense reaction time at 45, interceptions at 24, pass coverage at 56, and tackling at 70. The reason why we have fumbles is so low is because before we were running it on 45, but with punch outs and new mechanics, they were actually fumbling a lot. But we moved it down to 30, and it's kind of like a realistic kind of fumble scenario so far. We haven't needed to turn it up or down. So for special teams, what we have is field goal power at 52, field goal accuracy at 54, punt power at 55, punt accuracy at 55, and kickoff power at 42. What this does is it makes it so people actually have a better chance at making their field goals, because in Madden, some players don't make field goals. Even though that's realistic, sometimes it can be unrealistic. Like last year, we had Justin Tucker missing like 55 yarders. He wasn't going to miss those IRL. If you see that you're missing too many field goals up close and that kick is actually good, try moving the field goal accuracy, I would say, to 56, 57. Don't go any higher than that because you don't want it to be too easy to make field goals. Injuries we have at 13, fatigue at 64, and min player threshold at 45. And this just makes it so the offense and the defense are kind of on par, and not just with speed, but just coverage in general. So it's just not too one side. Looking at the penalties, you may think, yo, what the fuck is this kid doing? And just trust me here. So penalties often don't get called on base settings. So defensive pass interference, that still doesn't get called. You'll be surprised when you make this 99 at how little they still are being called. I'm like 5 games in and this still does not being called. It hasn't been called since last year. But again, this offers you the best chance of it getting called in the event that you actually do get a pass interference. Face mask, keep that at 50 out of 99. Holding 95 out of 99. And this is because in real life, a lot of times offensive linemen will hold on runs, especially if they're not disciplined enough. False start, 80 out of 99, because again, false starts sometimes happen, and offsides happen a lot, 80 to 99. A lot of times, both of these aren't called. I would say holding is called the most out of these penalties. If you think offsides is still a little bit too low, I would say move it up to 85, but that's pretty much all you really need to change. And then finally, roughing the passer, 48 out of 99. You don't want 50 because we had it at 50. And it was being called way too much. But 48 is a very good balance. Anything lower, it really doesn't get called. Anything higher, it gets called too much. That's it. That's all the sliders and settings to make this game as realistic as you can. If I so happen to change some sliders throughout Madden this year, I will be releasing an updated video, but also pinning in the comments what I changed so you don't have to watch 2 videos or a video every time I change something little. If you like this video, you can click on the video on the left to see the most overpowered way to play Madden 23. And if you wanted to see more of my content, please click the video on the right. I love y'all to the moon and back, and I'm out. Peace.